Hey, what's up guys? Pat here from smartpassiveincome.com. Welcome to video 5 of the How to Start an Email List series. If you've randomly come across this video and you haven't seen the other ones yet, I would highly recommend going to startanemaillist.com. You'll see the entire 6 video series there, plus some other information and some giveaways for you too. In this video, video number 5, we're gonna be talking specifically about broadcast emails. So how do they differ from autoresponder emails, which we talked about in the last video, how to set it up, and some tips to help you better capture the attention of your subscribers so they'll open your emails and things like that, plus some just general tips to help you just crush it with broadcast. So let's get started. Before we start talking about broadcast emails specifically, I really wanted to hone in on this distinction between autoresponder emails versus broadcast emails. And to help with this, I wanted to share a couple analogies with you. And remember, an autoresponder email is an email that you write ahead of time that then gets sent out to people after they subscribe. It's sort of like a magazine subscription, right? Like you sign up for a magazine subscription, you know what you're getting in the mail, and it comes on a consistent basis, and hopefully it's of value so you continue to subscribe to it and look forward to cracking it open. Of course, you can get subscribed to things that you don't want. If you've ever gotten junk mail, you know how that feels. So please don't sign people up automatically to your email list. That's like the worst thing you could do. You want to ask permission by sharing an opt-in form at some point during the journey when they're on your website, and then have them be the ones to say, yes, I want that thing that you're offering. That's why incentives are really important too, which we've talked about in previous videos in this email tutorial. But yeah, it's sort of like a magazine subscription. It's also similar to a television show that you know is coming out. Perhaps you record it on a DVR and then watch it later. A lot of people would love to get your emails, and they often don't read it right away, so they're watching it later on a DVR, just like this family here who's watching a green screen for whatever reason, and they're holding hands. I don't know why. Maybe they're really sad because they're looking at the old version of my website. I don't know. But it's sort of like watching a television show. And again, they know it's coming out or they've recorded it. It's there and they can choose to watch it at their own time. Now, another cool thing that autoresponders are used for is sort of guiding people through a process. So it sort of acts as a guide. So you're trying to teach people to do something, and at certain moments, it's there to sort of check in and say, hey, how are you doing? Or maybe you can even set up automatic triggers, which we'll talk about in the next video, where after people complete a certain section of your course, then an email gets fired out to them, again, one that you've already written that checks in with them or gives them some next steps. So it sort of acts like a guide, which is really cool. Now, a broadcast email is sort of like, consider it like a text message, right? A person is just living their life, doing their thing, and all of a sudden you send them a message and it says, hey, like, look at me, this is what I got going on. And the last reaction you want from people when they see an email from you is, I don't know if this is for me, right? Or worse, who are you? Like, I don't even know what this person is doing and why they're sending me stuff. That's the last thing you want to happen. And that's why autoresponders, again, are really, really important, because you can automatically remind people about who you are and the value to give that you give them, so that when you do send a broadcast email, they're going to react instead like, hey, there's Johnny sending me more great stuff. I wonder what it is. I'm gonna put on a hat and start reading it, right? So that's how you want people to react when you send a broadcast email. You want people to know who you are and that you have value to offer, and to take action on that thing. Now, the question you might be asking yourself is, when do you send a broadcast email? Well, this is the same question as when do you send an announcement, because that's essentially what a broadcast email is. It's an announcement to your subscribers, and there are many different kinds of announcements that you can make. For example, news and updates. What's the latest going on in your business, or even in your life? If you've had a new kid or something, your audience would probably love to know that and be very thrilled for you. If you have an update for the project that you were working on, or maybe you're traveling somewhere, you could share that information with people if you'd like to perhaps meet with them at some point while you're traveling. So any sort of news or updates, always great for broadcast, because that's stuff that's happening now. And sometimes if you are early to break news that's relevant to your niche, people are going to really appreciate that and get a lot of value out of it. So news and updates are great. Next, new content. So if you publish a new blog post, a podcast episode, a video, or whatever, don't be afraid to craft a broadcast email, insert a link to that new piece of content, and get more traffic to your website. This is one of the most underutilized traffic building strategies in the world, utilizing your email list. Many people are too afraid to do this. Now, there's obviously a point at which it becomes too overwhelming, so just be conscious about how often you're doing this. Because I'm coming out with so much content, hand select the what I feel would be the most helpful content, and I do send broadcast emails to make sure people do click on those links and get access to that content. So don't be afraid to send emails about the new content that you've created. You've spent a lot of time on it. It's your job to get people to see it. Next, you can ask questions. Asking questions to your email list is one of the most powerful strategies to offer some insight for you in terms of what you should do next, blog posts that you should be writing, videos that you should be creating, and also potentially products that you can create as a solution to their problems. So a great question to ask might be, what are you struggling with right now? Or what would you like to see more content written about on my website? You can get a little daring and ask questions like, what's one thing that you wish was improved on my website? Or what was your first impression when you got on my website? It's almost like surveying your audience. And of course, surveys are meant not to just ask questions, but receive incredibly important answers to help guide you to create a better experience and better serve them. So don't be afraid to ask questions every once in a while through your broadcast emails to your audience. Of course, this one goes without saying, and that is using your email list to promote things or to offer recommendations and perhaps get an affiliate commission from those recommendations. As they say, the money is in the list. And I do agree with that. The money is in the list. But I think more than that, the money is in how you use the list to better serve your audience. The money is in how you used your list to better serve your audience. And the list, of course, is a great way to keep in contact with your audience. And if you can recommend great products, awesome. Don't be afraid to send broadcast emails to sell. If you found something that is incredibly useful, you're doing your email list a disservice if you don't at least mention it once. And you'd probably want to mention it a few times to make sure people see it. I'll go over a few strategies later in this video to make sure people are seeing your emails, even if they don't open it the first time. So we'll get into that soon. But again, don't be afraid to use your email list to sell. Now, going back to similar things that I've said earlier, there is a point at which it would become overwhelming. You've probably been on email lists before where you're getting unwarranted promotions or you're getting 1,000 emails about the same promotion. And of course, that doesn't feel good either. So try to put yourself in the shoes of your subscriber and make sure that you are, yes, announcing these amazing things that are happening and these offers, but at the same time, not going overboard. And finally, if there are any problems or issues that are going on with your brand, you want to be the first one to let your audience know if there's going to be an issue that they're eventually going to see. So, for example, if your website's down, like it was for me in March of 2013, my website was actually down for a whole week. I had lost over $15,000 in potential earnings. I had to collect some of that back through insurance, which I luckily had. Anyway, it was a mess. But one thing that was really cool was I utilized my email list to let everybody know right away that there was an issue. I was working on it. So I wasn't getting a flood of messages from people asking like, hey, what's happening? Is it just me? Well, why is your site down? No, I told everybody first. But in addition to that, I included links in that email mentioning my problems, links to podcasts, which they could still have access to, videos on YouTube, or guest posts or guest podcast episodes on other people's sites. So I was still able to provide value even though my website was down. And think about this. Even if my website were to die, like the hackers got in there and they just ruined everything, I still have my email list. So I can set up shop somewhere else tomorrow if I wanted to, if something happens. So that's another reason why your email list is so important. It's an asset. It becomes a safety net for you. So please, your email list is so important. And you know that already. You're 5 videos into this tutorial, so I don't have to tell you that. So let's keep going. Okay, so we're back here in the test account I have for ConvertKit. That's why there's only one subscriber, myself. I'll show you the back end of my other account with nearly 200,000 subscribers, so I can show you some of the more interesting stats related to the broadcast there. But for now, I just wanted to show you the process of setting up a broadcast and a few tips along the way that are going to be universal for you no matter what email service provider you use. So for right now, I'm going to click on Broadcasts. And here we go again. Broadcasts are one-time emails you send to your list. So let's send an email one time to my one subscriber and just show you what that's like. So I'm going to hit New Broadcast. Now, what you're seeing here is unique to ConvertKit, and that's where I'm able to add or exclude different groups of subscribers that I've created based on tags and different forms they've signed up on and all that stuff. I'll show you more of that advanced stuff in the next video, video number 6, the last video here in this tutorial. But for now, we're just going to send an email to all subscribers, which is the default, and I'm going to hit Next Step. Similar tips to the last video in terms of crafting your emails. So your subject line, make it be something that people would be wanting to click on, because remember, that's the first thing they see. Before they read all your amazing email content in the body of the email, they're going to see your subject line. And remember, many people are sending them emails too, so your headline will be competing with other people's headlines. So just keep that in mind. And also try to keep it under 60 characters. So don't make it more than, I would say, 6 or 7 words at most. Try to keep it even shorter. That way it's easier to read, but also it gets shown on the mobile device in its completion too. So I don't know, this might be my best tip for emails today. Or maybe my best tip for sending emails today. Then I'd write the content there. If I wanted to personalize it a little bit, I could say hi, and then click on this to personalize it and insert subscriber name. So if I am collecting subscribers' names, I would put that in there. So hi, subscriber name. And then the purpose of the first paragraph of your email is to get people to read the second paragraph and keep going. So you really want to make sure that people know what they're getting into because, again, people's time, it's getting fought for. So you want to make sure that they know that they're getting something great here. It starts with the subject line, then the first paragraph, and then you kind of go from there. I'm not going to craft the email right now, but I will share with you a few other tips with you related to crafting emails that will be a reiteration of what I had said earlier. So keep the paragraphs very short, 1 to 2 sentences at most. And then finally, if you have any links, make the links on their own line. So let's say I'm going to link to Smart Passive Income. So I'm going to be writing some stuff here, a couple paragraphs here and there, and then I want to insert a link. And of course, before the link, I want to mention a call to action. So click on the link below to visit the website. Again, this is very vague because this is just an example. You'll be a little bit more specific. But then what I would do is insert the name of the website here, or even before that, say, click here to visit. That way it's a call to action. It's very clear. Plus it's a little bit bigger. So especially on mobile, it's going to be less of a chance of misclicking it. Highlight the whole thing and then click on this link button here and I can insert a link and simply just put smartpassiveincome.com. Now, there are things called link triggers, which are automations, which, again, more advanced. I can begin tagging people based on what they click on to get and gather more information about them. So I can send them better emails in the future and just kind of understand their behavior. Again, we're saving all those crazy things for video number 6. But for now, I typically click Open Link in New Tab, and I like to do that because if people are viewing their emails on their desktop, I want to make sure that they stay where they're at and only choose to remove themselves from that page if they want to. So typically, I have them open these new links in a new email, or excuse me, in a new tab. So Insert, and then that's there, Closing, Thanks, Cheers, and I'll see you there. Pat. Now, before you send an email out, you have yet to get to the point at which you can even send it, so there's still some steps in between. But you want to make sure you preview it. You can preview it in the browser here, in ConvertKit at least, by clicking that. That way, this little thing pops up and you can see it there. This is a little placeholder for where the name goes. Always make sure to click on the link to make sure it opens as it should. And what's really cool is that it'll track whether or not people click that link, which is really great. Yep, it opens perfectly, so I'm going to go back. You can also test it via email. So by clicking here, you can send an email to any email address you want, whether it's yourself or your assistant or your editor, and you can send a preview. And I would highly recommend doing that before you send any emails out so you can have somebody or yourself proofread it, and again, check those links. Must have a dozen times sent emails out where the links didn't work, and that's not good, especially if you have a large email list. So don't do that. Send yourself a preview, click on those links, read out loud every single word so that it makes sense, and then when you're ready to go, hit Next Step. Again, it gives you one more preview. It shares with you who the recipients are. If you have different tags or different sub-segments of your list that you're sending to, it'll show you that here. And then you can schedule it to go out if you'd like, or you can send that broadcast right now. And I'm actually going to send this because I want to show you what it's like on the other end. It'll ask you one more time, which is great because, again, you really want to make sure that you want to send this out. Okay. All right, and now it tells me that my best tip for sending emails today is queued for, and it should be happening right now. So if I refresh this page, it should show me that an email was sent. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer depending on how many emails you're sending out and whatnot, so people aren't going to get it immediately, like within the next minute. But typically, if all things are going well, no matter what email service provider you're using, it should go out, immediately after you send it, or if you're scheduling it at that time. All right, so as you can see here, the email was sent. I can actually click on this email if I wanted to and collect some more data behind it. I can view the content of it if I wanted to, just to make sure it was great in case I wanted to copy it. You can even duplicate the email straight from here if I wanted to send the same email out, but changed a few things a little. If I wanted to resend it to a different segment, I can check to see the recipients of this email, and I can verify that this was indeed myself. You can even from here click on the subscriber and get more information about this person in terms of how they've interacted with your emails before, whether they've opened them, and whether they've clicked on links or not. You can see what forums they've subscribed on, what segments they're in, or tags are applied to them. As you can see here, I don't have a first name here because I didn't actually have that in the form that I used to do this demonstration in an earlier video. So when you go to the email, here's the email here. As you can see, there's no name, and that's because the name wasn't collected. So I can go back to ConvertKit and insert a name here if I would like. I can add any new fields as well, hit Update Subscriber, and then now future emails will have the first name in there when I include that sort of parameter in future emails. Now, if you would like to personalize your emails without having to do that workaround, just simply when you collect an email address, use a form that collects both a name and an email, not just the email only. We can go back to this email here, and I can click on this link, and it should bring me to Smart Passive Income as we had instructed it to earlier. And there we go. We are exactly where we want to be, which is great. So going back to ConvertKit here, after some time, again, it doesn't happen immediately, but after some time, I should see this email type being a broadcast. As you can see, that's the one we just sent out. Currently, it has no data behind it because it takes a little bit of time for the servers to speak to each other. But at some point, I'll be able to click reload, and this should go to that same symbol here, which is the clicked symbol. So it's a blue circle with a dot on it to show me that, yes, this person not only opened this email, but also clicked on it as we just did there. So I'm going to hit reload and just see if this pops up. Hey, and there we go. It does show as clicked, just as we had demonstrated. If I go back to broadcasts here and get a little overview, I should see the percentages change. Yes, one recipient, 100% open rate. Wow, that's amazing. 100% click rate, which was even better. But obviously, once you get more emails being sent out, the open rates will vary, the click rates will vary. And please, when you're sending these emails out, don't just send them and forget about them. Send them, and then later on, check back on the reports and try to analyze, okay, which emails are getting the highest open rates, and then try to understand why. Which ones are getting the highest click-through rates, and try to understand why. And that's going to really help you as you craft your emails moving forward. So to finish up this tutorial, a couple of things I want to share with you. So if you'd like to get even more people to open your emails, here's something that you can do. I would wait 72 hours after you send an email, if it's not necessarily one that people need to see within a certain time period, but sort of, again, broadcast, so it's timely, but wait 72 hours because it takes a few days for some people to open their emails. If you send another email to them immediately, some of them might get upset. So wait 72 hours, and then go to the same email that you had just sent out. Not everybody's going to have opened it. It won't say 100% click-through rate. Again, you can see here, if you have multiple links, it'll actually show you how many times those links each got clicked. But here's what you can do. For the people who have yet to open the email, you can resend that email to those people. Because after 72 hours, you might assume that, well, they just either didn't see it or got lost or whatever. So you can resend to the unopens. And this is a great strategy that'll dramatically increase over time the number of people who view your emails, because people will see it the second time, having not seen it the first time. Now, a couple of things to be wary about. One, in most email service providers, this is actually not quite as easy as you would hope. So I know, for example, when I was using another one, I'd have to export the list of people who didn't open it and then import that as a brand new list and then send things to them. That was very difficult. What I love about ConvertKit, it just makes it really easy. I can click this button to literally just resend to unopens. Now, it doesn't resend as soon as I click this. It drafts another broadcast so I can play around with it a little bit, which is really, really important. I'll tell you why. So it's going to resend to unopens. Now, it tells me that this is going to be delivered to 0 recipients because on this particular sort of list that we're sending to, everybody had opened it because it was just one. So what you would want to do is, yes, you would want to make sure that this is being sent out to a number of recipients, which is true. Those are going to be automatically the people who have yet to open that initial email. And I actually wouldn't just click next step and send it out. I would update the email just a little bit and make it so that people, for whatever reason, if they did actually open that email, it shouldn't happen, but if they did open that other email and they get the exact same one, they might actually be a little bit upset. Or they might go back, maybe they check their email every week and then they would see these 2 emails. I would actually send an update sharing the same content, but just changed a little bit. So I would actually say something like, just in case you missed it. It could be a similar one to the original or something like this. And then I would say, hi, name, and some information about, hey, I sent this out a couple days ago. Just wanted to make sure you saw it because it was really important. If you did, awesome. If not, here's the link one more time. There you go. Then you can hit next step and obviously preview it like I mentioned earlier, and you can send it out. Now, this one won't be sent out to anybody because there are 0 recipients, so kind of just I'm at the end of the tunnel here. But for you, resend those, and you'll see that you're actually going to get a number of people who are going to open those emails who wouldn't have seen it if you didn't hit resend. I would only do that once, not anytime more than once, and there you go. So that should help you increase your open rates even more. Now, before we finish up, I do want to show you my personal email dashboard in ConvertKit here and show you some of the numbers and some of the interesting things, just to give you an idea of what to look forward to and kind of what to look out for. Okay, so here we are in the broadcast dashboard for the ConvertKit account for my main website, Smart Passive Income. And as you can see here, there are 229 broadcasts that have been completed. So I can go in there and check those out. I can see the ones that are in draft mode or one that's actually queued up and ready to go at a later date. So I just want to walk you through some of the things here to, just to kind of give you an insight on what's going on. So this first email here, this is the latest broadcast that was sent out. This was for a specific group of people who are taking a course that I have. They're a founders group in a course called Smart From Scratch that I have at smartfromscratch.com. As you can see, there were 124 students and an 89.5% open rate, which is massive. Now, that's going to be the case typically for when you have little programs like that and people are expecting those emails. I mean, they're wanting them, so they're going to open them. So the click-through rate is quite high as well. Typically, they're going to be much lower than that. So if your open rates are anywhere between 10 and 30%, you're doing probably pretty darn good. Depending on the industry, it could be, even 10% could be the average. So yeah, just try to keep it up. And again, all the tips we've talked about already in this tutorial are going to hopefully help you increase your open rates and click-through rates from there. Let's see, this one from here is the invitation to actually become a student for that same course, smartfromscratch.com. As you can actually, let's go into the report here so we can dive into this a little bit more. So as you can see here, this now shows me that out of 21,000 people who have received this, 1,627 or 7.5% had opened that, which is pretty good. You'll see an open rate of 36.5%, which is very good. Now, you'll notice that my recipients, there are 20,000 or 21,000 people. My email list is nearly 200,000. So you might be wondering, well, why are you only inviting a certain amount of people to, join your course here? Well, the reason is because this course isn't for everybody, and because I've been able to segment my audience and tag them as either having started a business or not, I'm able to show this to only people who this would be relevant for. And again, we're going to be talking about those kinds of things, which are the most powerful sort of email marketing strategies you can use in the next video here. But I just want to finish up with just a few more things. The other thing I wanted to talk about and touch on today is the unsubscribes. So I sent this email out to 21,000 people. 129 people unsubscribed, meaning they looked at that email and they didn't want to get any more from me. They scrolled all the way to the bottom, and like we saw here, you can see here the unsubscribe area here next to the address. When they click on that, they become unsubscribed, and that is what counts as an unsubscribe. Now, when you're just starting out, I know how you feel. You feel like you failed. You feel like when somebody unsubscribes, you might also get kind of angry or upset. Like, why would you unsubscribe? I'm trying to help you. Well, there may be a number of reasons why people unsubscribe, and going over your broadcast list over time, you can see which ones have more subscribers, more unsubscribers than others, and you can kind of perhaps figure out, well, why did more people unsubscribe to this one than this one, and try to figure out what you can do to make sure that doesn't happen again. But you're always going to get unsubscribes. As you probably know, you get a number of emails that you just don't want anymore. You're just over it, so you just kind of unsubscribe to everything. So do your best to provide a ton of value, but don't worry, you're going to get unsubscribes. I've sent emails out with thousands of unsubscribes, which is okay. Those people just don't want to be on your list anymore, and you shouldn't worry about them. But however, there are this many people who are opening your email. So make sure you do whatever you can to serve them and provide value to them, and then it's going to work out. So don't worry about the unsubscribes. Just don't let it bother you. Worry about the open rates. The only time to worry about unsubscribes is when you're sending emails out and all of a sudden there's one email that has a bazillion unsubscribers. Well, something went wrong there. You just don't want that to happen. So yeah, we'll just end there. That's the broadcast email tutorial. And in the next video, the last one, I want to share with you some of those high quality, sort of more advanced segmentation and tagging tips, which really this tool is really much suited for and was built for ConvertKit. But you can do this in other email service providers as well. You can hack your way around it. So I'm going to get into that in the next video. I look forward to seeing you there. Until then, comment and let me know what you think. And hopefully this has been helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to check out the next video and the final video in this email tutorial series, just click on the video that you see here. And if you want to check out all the videos in one spot, plus some giveaways and other information for you, you can click over here to go to startanemaillist.com. Now, if you've seen the other videos, you probably are expecting a wrap right now, and I'm not going to do it.